members who will be singing solos today. I know you had your rapid test today, and if they kick back and all thumbs up, you can go ahead and go unmasked for your solos today. I want to introduce you to Amina. She is our assistant stage manager. She's going to give you a little background on what we've been working on and what we're all here doing today.
Hi everyone. We're so happy to have you here today. We're so excited for you to see our show. We've been rehearsing for 2 weeks, so this is going to be our first public performance. And it's an abbreviated version of our show. But yeah, this is our first public performance, and we're very excited for you to see it. There's going to be a lot of great things for you all to witness and that you can take part in. So we encourage you to do that and enjoy the show.
We have about 6 performances total, but our first 3 performances we do what we call a narrated version. And so we have narrators who will guide us through the storytelling of Carmen as we do different songs from the show. So if you come to this show, which is one of our first 3, and then you say, hey, I want to see the full show, we have 3 full performances with all of the lines and staging and all the set design things that will come with that in about 2 more weeks. So sit back and enjoy this performance of Carmen.
Students in Ms. Schuler's literature class have been reading the novella Carmen by Prosper Mérimée,
the same Carmen George Bizet based his opera on.
In an effort to bring the text to life, Ms. Schuler has instructed her students to act out the story together in class.
Each day, she brings props and accessories to accompany the students, telling of this classic tale in their own unique way.
Her students really like reading through literature in this way and take turns playing some of the key characters in the story.
At the same time, Mr. Gary's music class is preparing George Bizet's opera Carmen down the hall.
Okay, folks, let's pick it up where we left off in the overture.
We're done with War and Peace. We're going to start with a completely different book and read it together in a completely different way. Does anyone know the story of Mark?
I think so. I saw something on MTV in Washington name of Carmen
MTV's coverage was fascinating, but I'm actually talking about novella by Prosper Mérimée. Then later became the opera by French composer George Bizet. It became well known only after his death, and as he performed by orchestras and dance companies worldwide. It's also been portrayed in dozens of movies, silent films, right up to the present day. Well, today is your lucky day, because in my hand is a masterful story of passion, conflict, fate, and tragedy. This story wants to jump off the page, and I say, let it. We're not just going to read this story, we're going to be this story.
They find themselves in the town of Seville, Spain, which has a military base that employs many of the men,
and a cigarette factory where the town's women work.
The first of 3 Carmens from Miss Schuler's class has a captivating presence as she enters the story.
Carmen is not impressed by the attempts of young men to woo her or even hold her attention.
Across the room, there is one soldier who is waiting for his fiancée, Miguela, to return and has not given Carmen a second look.
The song, Habanera, marks Carmen's entrance. As she takes the stage, all eyes are on her. When Micaela sees Don Jose and Carmen exchange a flower, the two of them have their own exchange.
So anyway, back at work, Carmen gets into a huge fight with another girl at the cigarette factory.
worker, Carmen gets into it with Captain Zuniga, which gets her on her way to a night in detention to cool off.
And guess which soldier was assigned to take her there?
Don Jose.
Boom.
Yep.
So now, the whole time he's taking her to jail, she's batting her eyes and trying to get him to set her free, and free himself from his mousy little girlfriend, Mikael.
Ow, you're hurting my breast.
I should have thought of that before we started that fight back there.
As they talk along the roadside, Carmen gets Don Jose to let his guard down. And when he does, she runs away.
So now he's lost his prisoner and he's about to lose his job.
The captain has Don Jose put in detention for this.
But while he's in jail, Carmen writes to him to say she really does have feelings for him and hates that he's there because of her.
Feeling heartsick over this new guy, our next Carmen has become a downer to her two friends, Mercedes and Frasquita. This next song, Carmen Blue, takes place at a local inn where there's live music and dancing.
Off in the corner is sad-faced Carmen looking blue.
rousing dance of their own.
A shrill of screaming girls was heard as the world-famous matador and hometown boy steps into the room.
It's Escamilla!
Not just the man, he's a legend of our time. Oh, you best beware, fight the king if you dare. Escamilla, he's a
is torn between returning to her old ways,
Partying with the richest, most popular guy in the room.
or waiting for Don Jose, who has truly captured her heart.
Just then, a letter carrier enters with a message for Carmen. As she opens it, lights fade up on Don Jose.
From his jail cell.
I still feel for you. My heart won't stop aching. It's moments from breaking. Now the moments till I see. How can I touch the sky? How can I make you mine? I wanna be your baby. I don't know how, but I know. I'm sorry that you said goodbye. But I still want you in my life. I wanna be your baby. You need to keep our love another try.
At that moment, one student interrupts the action.
Wait a minute. This isn't some story from a book. I knew what's gonna happen next. The same thing happened to my sister.
Miss Schuler, knowing Carmen's end, gives the class a break and asks Dominic if he would like to stop or continue reading Carmen.
Act 1 ends, leaving Dominic with a decision to make.
In Act 2, Dominic has decided it's important to share a story, but he wants to tell it his way.
He introduces our final Carmen and the neighborhood that they are from. It's a rundown part of town with abandoned buildings and a mix of working class family, drug dealers, and gangs.
The storyline and the characters are the same, but the names have changed. Don Jose is EJ, Mikiela is Mickey, and Escamillo is Biggie.
Rose in a small world, living right too fast, Versace young girl. My sister, she was blooming on the bus out of town. And sometimes where you go, keep your mentality down. But you couldn't tell her nothing, she was doing her thing. When my mom cursed and screamed about her friends in the gang. I wish I could go back and tell her which one to choose, but in this game, in the hood, you gotta choose your own views. Like she fought hard for this dude named DJ and her heart got broke when the cops took him away. But she waited and debated whether she should stay true. Getting hit on the street farm and getting his crew. The one day she got word he was free as a bird. He said he beat her and he greeted her on the block when she heard. She came out of her blues when it's time to go do. And I wish I could go back and tell her which one to choose. I wish I could go back and tell her which one to choose. I wish I could go back and tell her which one to choose.
Outside Carmen's door sits the guy from the neighborhood playing beats for loose change.
Girl from around the way.
Things are good for a while. But when DJ has to cut the night short to obey his curfew, they argue outside of Carmen's apartment.
Biggie and his crew are also on the block when DJ attempts to hurry home. When siren lights flash, Biggie and his crew take off running. Caught in the commotion, Carmen grabs DJ and they run with the others to their hideout. Furious about being in this situation after just getting out of juvenile detention, DJ goes off on Carmen, who is not provoked to apologize. Carmen turns her attention to her two best friends, who are reading carryout cards in the hideout.
Carmen's dealt the card of death not once, but 3 times. Being very superstitious, she retreats from the group to consider what this could mean.
He's coming, he's looking for you. You can't hide if you believe that it's true. He's coming, he's looking for you. You can't hide if you believe that it's true.
Pain is what you fear and it can't be explained. You've seen it through the years, take your lives been in pain. And now it's time for me to get stopped out of this game. Or if I'm in a line, we can go to live my power. He's coming, he's looking for you. You can't hide if you believe that it's true. He's coming, he's looking for you. You can't hide if you believe that it's true. He's coming, he's looking for you. You can't hide if you believe that it's true. He's coming, he's looking for you. You can't hide if you believe that it's true. Pain is what you fear and it can't be explained. You've seen it through the years, so take your blood bringing pain. And now it's time for me to get stuck out in this game. Or if I'm leaving while I'm really gonna live like Carmen. He's coming, he's looking for you. You can't hide if you believe that it's true. He's coming, he's looking for you. You can't hide if you believe that it's true. He's coming, he's looking for you. You can't hide if you believe that it's true. He's coming, he's looking for you. You can't hide if you believe that it's true.
Even after finding her in the arms of another guy, DJ still wants Carmen back, but Carmen has lost interest in this clingy DJ and has moved on to being Biggie's girl, but DJ just keeps sexting.
Carmen!
North, south, east, west. At the crossroads of life, there's sometimes intact. The knowledge that you know and they don't teach you in school. Don't let the road that you choose take you out like a fool. Let the road that you choose take you out like a fool.
DJ and his ex-girlfriend Mickey are old friends, but what DJ doesn't know is that Mickey still has feelings for him. We hear our true affection in her rendition of Say Goodbye.
It's moments from
DJ comes by every day waiting for my sister to come out and talk with him. One day he shows up to find Biggie and Carmen together.
I am tired of you. Go away.
Music is thumping at a hype club. Carmen's with her girls, while Biggie is mixing music to a cheering crowd.
Grab your punch right, push it up and down. Let's shoot the short person toe to your crown. Dig to the dick as we all get down. Punch rag, punch rag. Grab your punch rag, whip it out. Swing that kick, swing there's no rag. Out really punch rag, punch rag. Come on, yeah. What's all shut up? Yeah. Drop to the track, leg to the top. Do you all dance into the beat drop? Party rag, party rag. Grab your party rag, look up and down. Dig to the dig as we all get down. Pop that back into the beat. Party rag, party rag. Hey! When I said party, you said rag, party, rag, party, rag. When I said party, you said rag, party, rag. Party rag, party rag, party rag.
Managed to pull Carmen away from the crowd. DJ's frustration with Carmen's rejection is expressed through the movement amid the loud pounding of the hook.
The movement escalates to a physical altercation between the two that culminates and the death of Carmen at the hands of DJ.
Dominic enters, looking at the place where his sister's body lay. As the club scene transitions out, Miss Schuler and her class transition in to comfort him.
Dominic, did you have something you want to say?
Voices, choices. Voices and choices. Voices speaking to our hearts, speaking to our minds. Our souls are a reservoir. Our words are divine.
Voices, choices.
The weight of our words, the melodies they sing, the power to move, the power to soothe, the courage they bring. The greens, the golds, the blanks, darks is cold. The deep red desires that eats at our soul.
Speaking to our hearts, speaking to our minds, the melodies they sing, to souls that are divine. Speaking to our hearts, speaking to our hearts, speaking to our minds, the melodies they sing, to souls that are divine. Speaking to our hearts, speaking to our minds, the melodies they sing, to souls that are divine. Speaking to our hearts, speaking to our minds, the melodies they sing, to souls that are divine.
If I could describe my sister in one word, it can't be done.
Fearless,
Fearless.
talented, fun,
Inspiring.
I For Carmen.
For Carmen.
Thank you also very much for being our very first audience of Voices of Carmen. Let's hear one more time for the cast, the band. Does your team have some questions that we want to ask our audience members?
Yeah.
What are they?
So the first question is, I'd like to ask, and anybody can answer, what did you notice about how the characters responded to the conflict happening in the show?
Anybody notice anything about the relationships in the show?
Another question? Okay, maybe, let's try this. How do you communicate your feelings with others when you're dealing with conflict?
So I like to calm down, think, and then I have the situation after. So just going into a situation like
How did y'all feel about the elections? How y'all feel about it?
I'm going to say this. I've been dropping out there also 2 weeks, and you guys are awesome. You moved my spirit. You did an awesome job, so everybody should be proud of that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I started crying at one point in time when somebody was singing, because it's like in 2 weeks, I'm not even sure how you guys did this. Yeah, it was really great.
Any other thoughts or first impressions of our first show go around? Any particular characters, the music, the costumes, the storyline, anything at all that you found interesting or memorable or meaningful for you?
I like to see the different talents. So I liked that the music changed throughout. Like you had different voices, but it was like, you know, you had different kinds of music, and you saw the people that were really good at dance versus music. The band was awesome too.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I kind of like the idea of the different concepts. That was really interesting.
Do y'all have any questions or things that you're wondering about or unsure about? What questions do you have for the cast, for the band, for anybody? It could be about the show or just even about this process of putting this together.
Do you feel better since you did it now today as opposed to going into it and being like only having 2 weeks, but it all kind of came together?
Yes.
Thank you for that question. Any other questions that you have for the band, for the cast, and also for our folks working behind the scenes on crew, costumes, and setting things up? Any questions at all?
I think, one is that it seems like you can see the emotion, and I think that that's very significant at a time period right now, what's happening with politics, what's happening with social injustice, and different things of that nature, to see the conflict. And I think that a lot of our youth go through that at this time period right now, just having a lot of conflict and trying to choose and see, you know, who I'm going to be, what the world is trying to define me as. And so to see that raw emotion, I would say, come out in this type of artistic form was really dynamic. I like that.
Yes. Do any of you have questions for our audience, things you're wondering about artistically?
I have a question. What was your guys' favorite scene?
Ask Camilla.
Ask Camilla.
that was good.
I thought the way that you ended it was just perfect. And we talked about that conflict, and we talked about how we're, separated, but you're unified, you're all together. It's this kind of harmony, kind of, almost mysterious sound, but it's just beautiful. And I don't think you could end it any better.
Oh, very nice. Thank you all again for being here, for supporting these incredibly talented folks on the stage, working behind the scenes. Like I said, this is the first of 6 performances. We have 2 more narrative performances, and then after that, we'll have the full staging. We'll have the full blocking, some set pieces. So definitely come back and see it again. Definitely tell a friend. And if you like, feel free to sort of describe what this is like so we can push that out there in the world, since you've been the first ones to actually see it, hear it, and feel it. We appreciate you so much. Applause to our audience.
Or where can they find where the show's
Yes. Our ticket information, Perry, can you come say that real quick? It's on Eventbrite, and our tickets are always free. So you just go to Eventbrite to RSVP, and you're always welcome to make a donation to the Voices of Carmen program. We really appreciate that. But we love it if you can RSVP, because some of our spaces, as you see, are smaller, and we like to get a sense of how many people are going to be there. So they can go to Eventbrite to see where our other shows are coming up. Any other questions? All right, let's take a group photo with our photographers in the back.